Jambo and welcome to this video where we are going to speak about containers. I'm excited to have you here, and this being the first tutorial in Bootstrap 5. The version of Bootstrap that I'm using today is Bootstrap 5.3.2. You might have a different type of Bootstrap as by the time that you're taking this tutorial, but it doesn't really matter. First things first, I'm going to let you know what I've done with the folder structure here. I've just created two folders, the CSS folder and the JS folder, and then there is also the template file. It's basically a HTML5 template, which I have taken the liberty of linking the Bootstrap CSS file. There are several Bootstrap files, but I've just decided to, if I open the Bootstrap 5 distribution file, CSS, you see all these ones. I've just picked one of them, that's the bootstrap.css and the bootstrap.min.css. I've linked the bootstrap.css main file because the bootstrap.min.css might lack some things that I want us to explore in this tutorial series. Jumping straight to containers, I'm going to create a new file here in the main folder and just create a new file, name it 01 containers.html. Probably even copy, Control A, Control C, and paste it here. Okay, that is it. If we go to containers, I'm going to use the live server, so I'm just going to switch it off. The live server is an extension in Visual Studio Code. You can just go to the extensions tab here and download it or install it. Back there, containers from the containers file. That's the template file. If I click on go live, it's going to take us to the browser. I'm going to close one of them. So what are containers? Containers are basically containers, and the way to think about it is first I'll start with a h1 class to just signify what this is, and probably I'm going to give it a margin of 3 both on top and bottom containers. Then give it a color, let's say text success. Don't worry about these classes, we're going to pass through them in this tutorial series. So that's it. I wanted it to be like that, to give us that color and the size. Okay, so what is a container? It just contains your data within a certain breakpoint or a certain size of your screen. For you to better understand this, I'm going to use a raw container. So and it's just a div with some lorem ipsum. Lorem ipsum is default text that you can just type lorem and press tab and you're going to get them. So that's lorem ipsum for you. I'm just trying to format it better. So this is a raw div. As you can see, it goes all the width of the browser. No matter the size of your screen, it will always go the full width, but sometimes it's hard to see what is on the margins. That's why Bootstrap 5 came up with the classes, and I'm going to type it all in this tutorial series so that you get the feel of coding is purely pain at times, but it's also fun to see it happening. So I'm using Emmet, which is an add-in. Let's just say it's an add-in that assists you to type faster, and that's why I can type div and press tab and it creates this for me. If you use Visual Studio, it comes with it shipped with it already. So for us to use the container, it's a class, it's a Bootstrap 5 class, so it's just a div with the container class. And if I take this content, okay, we just take this because I don't want to format it there. If I do that, and actually let me give it a h4 that says container class, and let's give it a class of margin top of 3 so that we are able to differentiate these things. As you can see, immediately you apply the container class, it gives it a margin and a maximum width of 1320 or something of this. So let me inspect and let you know. You see, max width of 540. If we keep expanding, the max width also changes, but it will always ensure that there is a margin on both the right and the left, and it's centered on your browser. That said, let's explore other container classes, because this is going to ensure your text is, or your element, your HTML5 element is centered in all the browsers sizes. But Bootstrap also gives us other classes. I'm going to copy this, duplicate that, container-sm, which is for small screens. Let me just put here sm class. If I save this and go back to the browser, you can see sm class. It basically behaves like this, but if I go to the small screen, and if you're using Chrome, you can actually explore this. The small screen starts there. You can see it's centered from the small screen. If I go up all the way, you see, centered all the way. So medium screen, large, extra large, still centered. But watch this. If I go on, I'll put the next class. I think it's already pasted. So if I do the md class, so container-md, we save that, go back to the browser. If I go to the small, you see it's the same. Okay, if I keep expanding now, what's the changes? It's the same as this sm class, but this is the medium screen. Boom. If we get to the medium screen, it actually goes back to the raw format, but with some margin on the side. As you can see, we are now in the medium class. You can see the medium class, it has some small margin to the left and the right, but it's not purely centered as the sm class. So that's basically what the breakpoints mean in the classes. It's going to be centered unless it is on that breakpoint. So this is the small, which is the small devices like phones, etc. Medium, which is like tablets, etc. If you pass it, goes back to being medium. I mean centered. So let me give you other classes, which is, let me give that. The next one is the large, of course, because we have small, medium, large, extra large. Let me actually just put all of them. This is extra large, and then there is also extra large, which is given as container XXL. Just to differentiate them, I'm going to put container LG class to put large, and then this one is extra large, and then this one is extra large. Then save, and my live server automatically replaces it. So you see, unless we hit, you see, so we are in the small breaking point. That's why you see all of them are aligned the same, but it's not centered. It's just having some margin to the left and right. If I pass the small class, it becomes centered. If I get to the medium class, it becomes centered, as you can see. Then entering the large, boom, the large class, container LG class, becomes centered. And then we go to the extra large is going to kick in, and then the extra large will kick in at some point. So that's how we use the container classes, and it's important for you to know all the breakpoints in case you want proper you want the container to just flow with the browser or the device that is you're using or the user is having. There's a class called container fluid that flows with the browser. So if I just put it container fluid, it basically means that it's fluid. So this is the container fluid class. If I save that, you see, So even if I go to the small browser, it's going to be the same. See, I go all the way, MD, SM, the medium, and it's still fluid. We can go all the way to extra large, and the fluid class will still stay the same. It's basically the raw class here, where we just say it's a basic HTML raw class, but it's having some margin so that you are able to read what is in the left side and on the right side. Remember, in this browser, most of the browsers we read from the left going to the right. Okay, so that's it for containers. See you in the next lecture. We are going to learn about typography. See you then. Bye bye.